All righty, we are official. Leveraging your L's car edition. Car edition for leveraging your
Word.
L's. We are taking the show on the road. What is going on, everyone? I appreciate y'all for tapping in with us today. My name is Rafael Jimerson, aka Stamp, and we have our lovely co-host in the building, Tiara Bryant, the officiant of Wedding Efficient Academy.
Yeah.
What is going on, T? What's up? What's new?
Hey man, how y'all guys doing? I'm doing pretty good. Let me see. What's been going on?
I know you did a wedding. We know death taxes and Tierra doing weddings, man. We
Yeah.
know that's a fact.
No, we got an elopement this weekend. We booked the wedding this morning. So, we always love those moments, but I do be feeling like a little bit of like my week to week is starting to get a little boring. Like I'm ready to shake it up for 2024. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm ready for a little extra, pizzazz.
Speak about that. What was we need? We looking for like a excuse me, like a big splash in your business or just like in your day to day operations?
Honestly, in my day-to-day operations, I definitely want to add a little bit more of like reaching out to different like wedding vendors and really just getting like my recommendations list because I'm finding that couples are starting to book me a little bit further out, like a year out. So I'm starting to see an opportunity here to like link other vendors and really just again push just being able to like collab with other people and stuff. So I definitely need to put more energy and effort to like reaching out to like my local, places, um, other wedding pros, even like experiences I can suggest to my couples. Like, all right, on a Friday night, I ain't got nothing to do. Go and try this place out or go and do this thing and, just add a little bit more.
Okay. All right. That's interesting.
Mm.
They're booking you out a year in advance. That's very interesting. So how does that typically obviously they gotta pay you, they gotta pay well, obviously it's a deposit that they gotta pay, right? Now as far as like when they book a year in advance, like what does that look like? Is it more of a is it like is there more is the like the preparation that goes into that if they book a year in advance? Are you doing like preparation 6 months in advance or is it more like okay, let's get this set up 2 months before the wedding? What does that typically look like?
Honestly, the process is still the same. My process is still the same. I don't start working with my couples until like 90 days before the wedding. So essentially 3 months. And then we just schedule like 3 monthly meetings. Well, one meeting a month for those 3 months. So it doesn't really matter whether they do 6 months in advance or 9 months or 12 months, a year. We don't start working until 3 months out. But I will say that I'm moving away from like couples that are doing it maybe like a month in advance, 2 months in advance. I've done weddings where people have like a 2 week turnaround. So, and then they don't want nothing small either. Like they still want the regular process once I explain it to them. So it's like, all right, well, if I had a little
Yeah.
bit more time, yeah, that would
Yeah.
be nice. But yeah, so that's one thing I see. Like, right now couples are definitely in like engagement season and booking season. They're trying to figure out ways to, scrape up the coins to work with their favorite vendors. And there's supposed to be a huge wedding boom in 2025 as well, which I thought is very interesting. They keep talking about like all of these. Oh, my bad. Somebody was calling. They keep talking about all of these couples that are like met in COVID and is now like getting engaged and will be actually having their weddings in like more so 2025, 2026. So they keep talking about this huge wedding boom, this wedding boom that's happening. And I'm like, all right, I like that. I
So
like to hear that.
you want to get ahead of that.
Yeah, nah, for real. So
That's
yeah, I was like that.
interesting. Booking a wedding a year in advance. That's interesting. And then I can only imagine what that's like for someone. Like I said, they want to plan out this big wedding, and you only have like a month or so to prepare. It's like, what are you supposed to do there? Like, how can they really get, the best value that you'll be able to provide them if you only have like such a short amount of time to, to get everything set up, especially like for weddings. I'm gonna assume, the brides, they want everything done in a particular way. The groom is probably like, hey, I just need to be present, right? Let the wife do whatever needs to be done. So interesting.
Yeah.
Uh, interesting. I wish I could book a estate plan sign this year in advance. That'd be pretty cool. But I doubt that. I doubt someone would need to do that. But all right. What's new with me, man? It's been a lot going on as we discussed. Before we jumped on. Again, for those that just jumping on, we are doing leveraging your L's. This is the car edition. I have been a bit disorganized this week. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. These things kind of tend to happen. When you're trying to do a little bit too much,
Right.
and I can't fall victim to that at times. You just want to just jam pack your calendar with meetings and just meeting people, and then sometimes things don't go the way it should be. Because dealing with family, kids, sometimes it's like, oh no, we can't do that, and so you got to make adjustments, right? So, been a bit disorganized this week, but business is still rolling. So I'll give you guys an update of what I've been doing. I've been needing help with getting my signings filled, like scheduling. Um, when it comes to running and operating a signing service, the bulk of your time spent in the business, if you're not doing the signings yourself, is pretty much getting the orders filled. And so someone like myself, I may have signings down in Southern California, and I may have a signing in New York. I may have a signing in another area, right? But here's the tough part. The tough part is when you have someone that you already like working with in a specific area, and then they're not available, and then you gotta try, you gotta find someone else that's available for that particular signing. So I had a signing in I had a commercial closing in where was it at? In New York. New York, just this past Tuesday. And the person who I usually use, shout out to D, she wasn't available. But I had to find someone else to do the signing. So normally in a situation, if I gotta find someone else that I haven't worked with, not Claudia, it could be hit or miss. It really could be hit or miss sometimes. It just depends on the person, right? So luckily for me, I was able to get someone to get that signing done. And so, scheduling orders, it could be very time consuming. So I had, what was it, Monday? I think it was Monday. No, it wasn't Monday. It was last Saturday. No, it was last week. It was actually, no, it was last. It was this Monday. Show y'all disorganized, right? I don't even know my day and time it is. I had eight signings that need to get filled.
Hey.
Right. And then it took me about, usually it doesn't take me a long time to get orders filled, but for this particular reason, I don't know why, maybe it's just this day, it took me like 2 hours to get these orders filled. And it just dawned on me. I was like, yo, this is not the best use of my time. Like my strengths are talking to people, getting down in front of getting down in front of my target audience and letting them know why they should do business with us. I'm not trying to spend time trying to get these orders filled, and I got to deal with, oh, I can't do it for this fee. Oh, I'm not available at this particular time. So I went ahead and hired a scheduler. Uh,
Hey.
yeah, hired a scheduler, got her trained. No, I didn't say I got her fully trained, but we did some training yesterday. And hopefully next week we can get the ball rolling, and I will be eliminating myself from that part of the business. I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to have nothing to do with scheduling. I'm cool. I'm cool
That's
off
what's
that.
up.
Yeah, I'm cool off of that. And so, what I just been finding is, like I said, when you're like in moments of like chaos, which I feel like I've been dealing with this week, is like you kind of get clarity on certain things that you don't want to involve yourself within the business. Because I was sitting there just thinking like, yo, why am I sitting here trying to find notice for the signings? This is not the best use of my time. Like
Yeah,
it had dawned on me like you can be in the way of your business sometimes.
that's
I don't
true.
know if that. I don't know if that. I'm hoping that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
even though it's your business, but you could be in the way. It's like, hey, there's somebody else that's more qualified to find a note. Like I say, I'm not gonna say there's no one's more qualified than me, but I'm saying there's someone who could do this better than me. Like, why am I in the way of doing this? Why I could be focusing on doing this? So it had just dawned on me. When it dawned on me, I was like, oh no, I need to get someone in place to do this because this is not the best use of my time. So dealing with that, and then what else? What else did we have? Do we have anything else that was exciting happen? I haven't had too much excitement happen outside of 2 weeks ago where I had the dealing with the no shows. And then speaking of that, that person finally responded back to me. I'll talk about that once we get off. Uh Yeah, I ain't gonna talk about it on camera, but I'll talk about it once we get off. But they finally got back to me. But yeah, but for the most part, signings, I mean, business has been really steady. Like I said, trying to get more help in here. Oh yeah, I'll talk about what else I've been doing. Been doing a ton of networking, so I came across a few estate planning attorneys over these last few weeks or so.
Or-
I got introduced to an estate planning attorney where they do signings nationwide. They set up estate plans for their clients nationwide. And so what I'm starting to see, like as I dive deeper into this space, it's like, oh no, there's a lot of estate plans more than what I realized. There's actual attorneys out there where they're not just focusing locally.
Yeah.
Like no, they're setting up estate plans for their clients all throughout the country. The same way title companies do closings across the country, estate
Mm,
planning attorneys are doing the same exact thing. And so I had the privilege of actually meeting an attorney at a firm that's in Utah, and they setting up estate plans for their clients all across the country. So that was pretty cool. And then I ended up meeting another estate plan attorney through a networking event that I attended last week, and had a great conversation. Right now, I guess things are a little bit slow because it's the holidays and they're not
yeah.
really setting up any estate plans for their clients at this point in time. And so, um, I would just say my best advice for all y'all that's watching, man, whatever you're doing within this space, really be really clear on who you want to focus on.
Mhm.
Because a lot of times, because what I found too is because I've gotten real clear on who I want to service. When you having those conversations, they come away really impressed. For some reason, they just come away really impressed with what you do. And I think it's because I'm very clear on what I do,
Yeah.
how I do it, and it's like I said, it leads to some doors that's opening. So outside of this organization, this chaos, we still been keeping this business up and running, or keeping things progressing.
Nah, that's what's up. It's funny because I saw a video the other day and it was a guy who was talking about setting up like your SOP, so your standard operating procedures, right? And what
Hmm.
they said was the things that you hate to do or things that you don't like to do in your business, like do it one more time, but record yourself and then
Yeah.
let that be like the foundation or the start of your SOP. So when you do bring in people, you already showed them how to do it. So even I have like all the women that I met from Vegas when I went to Wedding MBA, we kind of started our own little, chat, and we've been talking, and a lot of conversations always around like hiring a virtual assistant or just like how do you delegate in your business. And I think you have like experience with that and then what you're doing right now. So I guess can you speak to like how do you find your virtual assistant or whoever's going to assist you, and then also like how do you train them in a way that you feel safe to delegate that service to them?
Hmm. Yes. So oddly enough, when I hired her, I was gonna have her just do like cold calling initially.
Mm,
I was only just gonna have her just do cold calls initially, but then, like I said, when it dawned on me, like I said, I was like, yo, I don't need to be doing this. I ended up having her decide to switch roles, and but to pretty much answer your question, what I look for, so let's say if I need a person that's a scheduler, right? I need you to have experience with setting up appointments. I need you to have experience of reaching out to people, X, Y, and Z, right? And so what I'll do is, I put in a job description as far as what this role pertains and what I'm looking for. And I just set up a time to do interviews. Now, when you like trying to set up like for interviews like VAs, especially if they're like in the Philippines or somewhere else, you are going to get bombarded with requests. And so obviously, we get I get 100. I probably got 100 applicants in
mm,
total. I'm not interviewing 100 people.
yes.
I'm probably going to filter out probably 20 of those people, and then out of those 20 people, I might schedule five for 5 interviews. And then out of those five, I just choose which one makes sense, right? And so if this person has experience again with scheduling, they got a point. If their skills or what they bring in is relevant to the job, to the role of what I'm looking for, then I'll make a decision right then and there and say, okay, this is a person who I want to interview. Let me see if this makes sense to hire them on. And then the next step, when we do the interview, I have my set of questions that I ask. And a lot of times I go based off energy. Obviously, everyone can talk a good game, right? But if the energy is right and I like what I'm hearing right now in the moment, it's like, okay, I think this person will make sense to bring on. And so when we do bring them on, as far as like the training goes, I pretty much just train them on everything that I do. right? So if I need to like a lot of times I post my signings in my Facebook group. If I don't get a notary in that particular group, then I'll go into the database and I'll just start reaching out to folks that's available. And I pretty much just teach them every single thing that's within that process. Now for the VA that I brought on, I only trained her on the first few steps. It's because I don't want to overload her with information, because because I found that when you overload like VAs with information, they can make mistakes.
Yeah.
And I had some F ups before because they would just overload it and they just wasn't able to process everything I was teaching them. So with this one, I'm taking things a little bit slower. I just want to focus on her, just how to actually find the notaries, what to say in the text message when you send them out, and what to put in the confirmation, and that's that. So
Okay.
I only got her focusing on scheduling this fine, like filling the order, sending the confirmation, and then once I feel like she's in a spot where she can pretty much do that on her own without me being present, then we're focusing on, okay, the next step is now we officially going to close out these orders. How to make sure that the scans are great. How to make sure that we officially close out the orders and send out the invoices to the clients. And so, and I mean, that's pretty much my process. I mean, me, I try to keep things very simple.
Yeah.
And then also, a good thing to do is like record those calls as well. So a lot of times they may not get it on the first time around. You want to record that. Record that training and then send it to them, or just put it like an a Loom account, or set up like a Loom and you put it inside there, and then they can have access to that account or to the library of like full of SOPs, and then they could just review those whenever they need to be.
Yeah, no, that's what's up.
Yeah.
All right, but that was definitely a nugget.
Yeah, especially when I got big goals for 2024, so I'm trying to scale this thing, and it's hard to scale by yourself. For a long time, I was able to do a lot of this by myself, but what I'm trying to pull off is like, nah, I can't do this on my own. If I try to do it on my own, I'm gonna literally go crazy.
Yeah.
Go crazy, man. So, but like I said, I try to keep things very simple. Keep it very simple. The simpler, the better.
Yeah. No, I like that. That's dope. That's fly. Like I said, a lot of people just struggle with like delegation and what things they should delegate to that VA and how they're gonna do it. And it's really just about trusting who you pick, embracing their failures, because it may happen. There's still someone outside of your company, outside of your industry, learning how you do your stuff, and definitely going to have to be a little bit of understanding there and a little patience. But shout out to that, because that's how that scaling, you're going to be able to really handle that influx of inquiries that's going to come from all of your networking.
And then too, it requires patience as well. When you bring somebody on, they're not gonna have a full understanding of your process like right away. And so this is actually like the third time that I've had that. That's actually the third time that I did hiring. I think this time around, I feel more comfortable this time around with the hiring aspect, because the first time around, I got some advice from shout out to Ty Capital Mastermind, because we always talking about, scaling and hiring and bringing on help. So I try and do everything by yourself. And so initially when I brought on, I hired two people, not at the same time, but I hired someone to do like my graphics and stuff like that. And then I had someone that brought in for to do like cold emailing. And honestly, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Like honestly, I had no idea what I was doing, but it was a very valuable experience for me, right? Because I was able to learn, okay, because initially when I brought them on, I thought I knew why I needed them, but then I got to a point where like it was like, okay, some of the stuff that I have them doing, if I happen to just be a bit more organized, I can actually do this myself, right? And so at that point, it just didn't make sense for me to keep them, right? But like I said, it was a very valuable lesson that I learned. And so this time around, I feel very confident about who I just brought on board, because actually it's very clear why I brought her on here, right? It's very clear why I'm bringing you on. I don't need you to do nothing else. Like the first VA that I initially hired, I had her doing like graphic design, I had her doing video editing, I had her doing a whole bunch of stuff that I really could have just did myself, right? If I would just structure my time a little bit better.
Yeah.
But yeah, like this time around, it's okay. This actually makes sense, and I have a real goal, a real reason why I have you, why I brought this person on, and so now it's just a matter of just seeing how this works out. If she's gonna do a good job or not, or just go from there.
Yeah, that's what's up. I love that.
Yeah. So, I would say I want to ask, like, as far as what you do you feel like it's interesting because I don't really hear too many wedding officiants talk about like hiring or talk about scaling. But
Mm.
like as far as what you do, like who would be someone that would make sense? Like what do you would it make sense for you to bring somebody on as far as like in your role? Obviously they can't do the weddings because that's what you do. But as far
Yeah.
as like, is there like certain parts in your business where it makes sense for you to hire someone or bring in some help?
Yeah, so I would say the main point, or the main part where people were bringing someone is for like content,
Mm,
because it's like we can't record ourselves, and so
yeah,
now we have to rely on the couple to give us their footage, or rely on other vendors or the vendors there to give us their footage, and that's after it's been edited. So it's like the wedding happens, and then maybe it takes like 6 months for everything to be edited and sent over to the couple. You're not going to get it before the couple gets it, and so
yeah,
you have to keep following up and following up. And, it's just a lot of back and forth. So it's better for you to get your own. So really working that into your contract, bringing someone on who doesn't necessarily need to be someone that you hire. It can be a family member. It can be, someone who wants to learn the business. So there's definitely better routes to take it. Someone who maybe wants to go into like wedding day content creation and they're not sure how to get started, or they're just at the beginning part. So, I see that mainly being the hire. Maybe if you do, if you have maybe like a mini chap or an office where people like come in, maybe you have someone manning the phones to like schedule those, because it's not really like a fully developed out ceremony. You're kind of just coming here, getting your paperwork done, and then going. So I can see that as
yeah.
well. But I feel like when officiants think about scaling, and if you're thinking about scaling in a way that is going to help you get more of your weekends back, because if you think about it, like weddings happen pretty much on the weekend. So if you want to have a bigger wedding business, you think, oh, I want to marry more couples. Well, that means you're going to have to give up more of your weekends, more than likely.
Yeah, yeah.
So I see the way a lot of officiants that are successfully scaling is actually raising their prices so that they are actually working with less couples, but at a higher price point. So they're getting more of their weekends back, but they're also getting paid more than if they would have had a lower price and took on more clients or more couples.
So correct me if I'm wrong. So the way you could scale, or the idea to scale would pretty much be, would you removing yourself from doing the consultation? You'll have someone else in place do the consultation, and then like I said, you could just focusing on just being present for the wedding.
I would say no, only because the consultation is really where you kind of like get the customer, like their couple's vibe. Your couple gets to get your vibe. And a lot of the times, that's the only meeting you're going to have that would be like unpaid, essentially. So it's not like, all right, we're going to go into this consultation. You're not going to know what it's like to work with me, but then you're still going to pay. And then we're going to start working together in the first meeting. It don't typically work like that. There's usually like some type of emotional connection that needs to be made. Now, I think if you have a team and they can be assigned to someone on your team, that's a little bit different, because you're already introducing that the possibility of them working with somebody else and not like you. So I see that. Yeah, but not even typically for officiants either. I see them more for like wedding planners, photographers, videographers, just different vendor types. But I see with officiants, really the biggest thing again is, like I said, increasing that individual like ceremony price so that you're kind of working with couples in a higher budget. And so maybe that scope of couples will make your pool a little bit smaller, but then they also can afford your services versus having maybe a bigger pool at a lower price point. Again, how many weekends do you want to give up? Because your weddings are going to be on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Makes
yeah.
sense. I forgot to ask you. because it was called the Wedding MBA, right? Or
Yeah, it's called Wedding MBA. Yeah.
did you meet anyone that had like how do I say it, like a signing service, but like for weddings only?
Nah.
Really?
Yeah, no. Well, let me say this. I will say, like, one of our speakers, yes, her business is built off of that. I think it's called DC Elopements. So
Yeah.
essentially, their business does elopements in Washington, DC, which we know is like people locally get married there. It's also like the state, what is it? The country's capital, and it's like a destination wedding spot. So because it's like so landmarky, they have more like smaller elopements and maybe in front of Lincoln Memorial or Washington, whatever.
Yeah.
So she has a business like that, and I see it more on a higher level than maybe like what the people there were doing so far.
Yeah.
So that's another way to scale when you're bringing on other officiants. And I think some people you can bring it on nationwide as well. If you just build that out, or even if you build out a specific type of platform, like maybe your specific niche is like cosplay weddings, and so now you're attracting couples who want cosplay weddings from all over the nation. So now you're going to also attract wedding officiants who want to do cosplay weddings because it's so niched out, and a lot of officiants don't want to do that. If you create its own little like hub, for people to search for, I think that's another way you can kind of expand nationwide in a niche type of way where your customers are like attracted to you for your specific service, because not everybody is doing that. And then now you can find one in your state.
That's interesting. I would have thought you would have came across a whole bunch of people that's in that lane. Though I say the speaker was, but I thought you would have. Interesting. Is that something you might end up doing?
Absolutely not. But
If I
do, it'll be more elopement style like that. But again, like it makes sense because where she lives, it's a destination. Maybe if I lived in Florida, California, or someplace where it's just highly visited from like other, places, maybe. But also everyone's style is different. I see people join as a collective, more like how like law firms have like these partnerships where it's like 4 or 5 lawyers together. I see officiants do that as well, where it may be like, 4 or 5 officiants that all work together, and, that's their website, and they all have their different personalities. And so when you work with that company, you'll work with one of those officiants there. That's the most I've seen. Yeah.
So Stephanie said, yes, I know a couple of companies there that has a service like that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I just asked because man, it's such a unique business, right? And so yeah, it's such a unique business, and it's always interesting to hear you talk about it. I would have thought that it would that would have been like more of a thing, like there's a bunch of companies out there like that. Because because when I talk to people and I tell them about my company, they'd be like, the first thing they ask me is, "Oh, is that a franchise?" I was like, "Well, no." But I think it's just so foreign, also because in our industry, it's well known, but outside of our industry, it sounds so foreign, right? And so that's why I think it's like, okay, well, maybe to the person for the person that's on the outside looking in, it may be like they only may know a person that do weddings, but your industry, I'm thinking maybe companies like that where it's just that's what they do. It's one person who may start off doing the weddings themselves. They were doing the destinations, they were doing etc. And then they just had the bright idea to say, I wonder if it's other companies, I wonder if it's people all across the country that need this. So I just thought to ask.
Yeah. No, I would say Max also I see is like directories.
Directories.
Yeah, so hosting a directory of other officiants.
That's a good one. You know what? That leads me to another conversation. Directories. It's a ton, and I mean a ton of notary directories out there where you can either join for free or obviously they need to pay you, or you need to pay, right? And I swear I get spammed with emails literally every day to my old notary email. Oh, join our directory.
Yeah.
The only directory I've been a part of before was 123notary.com. That was probably a couple of years ago. It's a gentleman, I forgot his name, but he's here in California. I've gotten some business from it. I didn't really use it a ton, but I always hear about notary directories, about people joining them. I don't know if you've been a part of that, but if so, what has been your experience with those? Just
Is a
curious.
is a notary directory different than signing up for a signing service?
And that's the thing. That's the thing, because it's almost like, well, now, are you a signing service, or you just got this platform set up to where people could find a notary? Because from what I've seen, as far as like notary directories, most people, when I ask, because I always ask people like, how did you find us?
Right.
And a lot of times they were either referred to me or they found me on Google. And never have I once heard someone say, "Oh, I found you on." I think I've had only one person that said they found me on a directory like 123notary.com or like signingagent.com. But outside of that, I don't even say how you can market those, because the people that actually set up those directories, it's only going to be present like in their area, if that makes sense. Let's say if I set up a directory here in California, I don't think no one is going to use my directory to find a notary in New Jersey, if that makes sense. Unless you post it on like social media, like LinkedIn or something like that.
Yeah, definitely post on LinkedIn. If you have like a catchy, I feel like if you have like a catchy name, like I ain't go, okay, so I think I was on Notary Rotary, right? Ain't that a directory, Notary Rotary?
Yep.
And
Yep.
then what you said, signing agent. I think there's like signing
Yes.
order. I
Yes.
definitely signed up with, yeah, I signed up with a decent amount, but I guess the difference between them is like if they're assigning the work, maybe, right?
Well, no, but they're not assigning the work. That's the thing. They're not assigning it.
Yeah.
It's pretty much that if a person needs a notary, they would go to that. They would go to the directory
Yeah.
themselves, and they would find what specific notary that they're looking for in this area. But the thing with those directories are, let's say if I want to look for a notary, oftentimes those directories are not on the first, second, third, and not even on the fourth page. If you're looking for a notary, like the only way you would hear about it is just if the person that owns that directory is either on social media, they're posting it, or you just happen to hear about it. So let me go to this website. I need a notary. But like oftentimes it's like, all right, well, how do you market this? Like, how do you market those directories and how helping notaries get business? It just something that just came to my mind just now.
Yeah, I would say even for those bigger like signing services, I cannot think of it. It's at the tip of my tongue. Oh, BankServe. Even like those bigger ones where people are like, oh, you got to get in here and it's all exclusive and all the other stuff. I've never gotten work from any signing service that I've signed up with, whether I like responded or didn't respond, didn't counter, accepted it. Still ain't get it. I said, what?
Same here.
What?
I signed up with BankServe in 2018 because they have you do like an interview, interview that you got to do, and it's not even an interview with nobody. I've never gotten assigned through BankServe.
Ever.
I haven't gotten. I got assigned through SnapDocs. The only reason why I got assigned through SnapDocs is because the loan officer that wanted me to do the signing told the person, the title company that's on SnapDocs, to reach out to me.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, I don't. I get offers. I get offers from like signing order, but the offers on there is just, oh man. They keep getting those $60 offers. I don't know how they getting those off. But people are still doing them.
I mean, I think people just want experience. People want experience. I think that's really what it be boiling down to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. You definitely want to get some experience, but you can still get paid at least $80, $85, $90 for the experience, like, and still get some good experience. But yeah, $60, $60 signings are crazy. I ain't never done those. But I mean, I can't talk because I was doing signings in 2018, 2019 for $75 in the beginning. So we all got to start from somewhere, man.
That's facts.
We all got to start from somewhere. What else, man? Do I have anything interesting? I don't know if I have anything else I want to share. I mean, besides, like I said, being disorganized, and then trying to scale and just hiring. Do I have any funny notary stories? This week, I don't have any funny notary stories. Fortunately, Unfortunately, I don't. Yeah, everyone's been on point for the most part. I haven't had any no-shows this week.
That's good.
Yeah, those no-shows be funny, man. I haven't had any no-shows this week, so thank God. Other than that, I don't really have nothing else. I don't know if you got anything else you want to add today.
No, not really. I would say definitely hop on the Facebook community, the Wedding Officiant Academy Facebook community, because we had our call. We had our last call. I want to say, was it last week? Yeah, we had our last call for the year last week, and it was so good. And it's always surprising, like, who joins the call. It's maybe like I would say 1 to 3 people are consistently on there, but it's always like a revolving door of, newer officiants. And the questions are always so good and so unique because people are from different places. They have different goals. And so I would say one of the questions that I got asked that was really, really, really good was, how do you really develop like a journey like for your couples? Like, how do you basically, she was asking me, how did I develop my journey, and, explaining what it is. And I told her, I was like, you have to think about what you want your couples to experience or how you want them to feel every time they interact with your business. And, just developing touch points based upon that. So it's like, all right, this first touch point, if you say, I want a minimum of 3 touch points, your first touch point, what do you want it to look like? And then how is it going to build onto your second one? And then how you going to wrap it up with your third one? So I would say that's one of the things that was a really good question that, like, if you're not in that room, you're not going to be able to hear. So I highly encourage, people to join that Facebook group, start coming to the socials, because it's questions that, again, they're not the same every time because different people join all the time. So that was my little shameless plug. We ain't got no more until January. We haven't figured out our dates yet, but definitely going to keep it virtual, keep it on a monthly basis. And really just keep encouraging people to show up, be in the room.
Facts. And I think, and I want to add to that. Like I said, in my opinion, the wedding officiant space, like I said, it's a very unique space. And if you were to do your homework on YouTube, social media, it's not too many people that talk about wedding officiating, how to, like you said, what's your journey like, how to actually perform a wedding, right? And so it's like I said, to have like the spaces like what the Wedding Officiant Academy and like having those wedding socials, like it's very important for people to actually just put yourselves in those rooms, because before then, like I said, early part of my journey in the notary business, I was associating myself with other notaries. Yeah. And so I missed out on a lot of opportunities, missed out on a lot of knowledge just from not just being in the room and just knowing what to do. So imagine someone that was getting into the wedding space, they'd say, oh, I heard you could be a wedding officiant. That's something I want to do. All right, okay, now you decided that's something that you want to do, right? Like, who's like your mentors? Who are some people who you can rely on that's going to make sure you got the right information? Because these folks will lie to you. Yeah. These folks will lie to you and purposely spread misinformation and have you out here looking crazy, just for them to swoop in and take their client, right? So it's very important. So it's very important for people to be a part of those spaces like you have, and make sure you're in the right environments, you're getting the right knowledge, because that can be very beneficial for you and your business in the long run. So make sure y'all join, because I don't know how long she's gonna be doing this, y'all. I don't know. So y'all might want to take advantage of it. What do we have coming up? Do I have anything coming up? No, I will say, again, I'm always looking for notaries. So if you're looking to join the Stamper Science Network, definitely hit me up. We'd love to have you be a part of our network. I'm looking for notaries, and I'm looking for more notaries in New York. We're getting a lot of signings in New York. So shout out to New York, man. Looking for notaries in New York, looking for notaries in Oregon, looking for notaries in Hawaii. I'm making a lot of signings in Hawaii, so definitely notaries out there. But yeah, that's it for me. Make sure you join our network. Definitely check out the content. As always, we appreciate y'all for being on here, tapping in with us on this good Thursday. We'll see y'all next time. Love y'all. Peace.